kids, so I don't know why I call you guys kids, but anyway, moving on. All right. So, like Michelle said, today's lesson is going to focus on for and while loops. So, just loops in general. And what I mean when I say loop is this is another tool that we can use that's useful for when you want to repeat a block of code multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's say if there's ever like a part of your code that you want to execute more than once, instead of like writing it out like twice or 3 times, that's super inefficient, right?
Mm-hmm.
A loop is just some tool that we use to repeat a certain amount of code like over and over again. And the first type of loop that we're going to introduce you to is called a for loop.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why we call it a for loop is because it begins with for.
Mm-hmm.
To start off more broad and apply this concept into coding later, a for loop is basically a loop you want to use when you know how many times you want to repeat the loop.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another type of loop that will come in handy later when this is not the case. But to start with a for loop, it kind of starts off a little bit weird. The format that we write it in is for I in range. And that's the most basic for loop that we're going to start with.
Yep. And it doesn't actually have to be I. You can do like X, Y, Z, anything you want, but it's usually just I, just default.
Yeah, we usually use I because I stands for index.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let me explain this a little bit before we go into a very specific example. So, for I in range, what does that actually mean? Basically, when you run a for loop, we take this variable called I, the index, and that is kind of almost like a name that we give to that certain run of the loop, if that makes any sense. So, what we're going to do in this case is we're going to do
yeah,
brackets.
like you label it.
Yeah.
Super. You don't need brackets for Python, I don't think.
Yes, you do.
You do?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So what this means is, let's just put print something. Like
yeah, let's say I want to print hello 10 times, so I can do that. Oops.
Let's run it.
Yay.
All right. So basically what this does is, going back to my point with the I variable index, the first time we run the for loop.
What was that? Oh my gosh, someone is doing some stuff with paper.
Oh, is it?
It's okay. Keep on going.
All right, whatever. It shouldn't be a problem now. Okay. So the first time the loop runs, I is equal to 1, right? Or is it equal to 0?
Oh, no, let's do this. I. Does that work?
Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, it equals to 0. 0 is
Wait,
kind
someone
of
is unmuted. I don't know who's unmuted. Can you everyone check if they're muted? Because I hear someone. I think they're eating. It's okay. Just make sure you're muted. Alright, keep on going, sorry.
Okay. So the I variable is what we call our index. The first time we run the for loop, I is equal to 0. And 0 is kind of Python's 1. Like when Python starts counting at 0, sometimes you just got to keep this fact in the back of your mind, because sometimes you run into issues. Usually it's not a problem though. So I is equal to 0. And every time that loop runs again, I's value increases by 1. So what we mean when we say for I in range 10, we mean run the loop 10 times. First time I equals 0. The 10th time I equals 9. And that's basically how we tell Python how many times we want to run our loop, using the whole range function. So if we wanted to... Oh, sorry, were you saying something?
No, I just coughed. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Anyway, so if that makes sense, basically when we use range, whatever we put inside the brackets is just the amount of the number of times we want the loop to repeat. So if you change, you can change it to like, I don't know, 50, or like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let's
All
do.
right.
Let's say you want. Let's say I want to do it 20 times. Now it
Yeah,
does it
that
20
can
times,
be.
and it starts at 0, ends at 19.
Yeah, so that can just be any whole number.
Yep. Okay.
All right.
Let's say we want to use this for something actually useful. Let's say we want to add the numbers 1 through 10. So you could do 1 plus 2 plus 3, etc., or you could do one of those loops. Alright, so wait, Yina, do you want to explain what I'm typing?
All right. So that first for loop resembles the one that we were doing in example. All right. So what Michelle's gonna do, like her goal is to add the first 10 whole numbers together, correct? So she created a variable called total sum, and number added is 1. So before we enter our loop, our total sum
Okay,
is
yeah.
equal to 0.
Mhm.
And every time we run the loop again, we want to,
I'll do it. Yeah, sorry, keep on
and every
talking.
time we run the loop again, we want to add a certain number to number added. I think you could also, okay, let's write it this way first. I think there's another way we can do it.
Yeah, there probably is. I'm just doing this just for now.
All right, this is probably the most
Let's
intuitive
see,
way.
did I mess up? Let's see. Okay, I don't think I messed up.
All right, so basically in this for loop, what Michelle did is she took total sum, which starts off at 0. Every time she goes into the loop, she just adds the first number, or like one number, to your total sum variable, and then you then increase the number that you add by, well, Michelle, I don't know if this is right.
Yeah, I don't know if it's right either. I just wrote that up quickly.
Okay, I don't know.
Why don't we
Let's.
think it's right?
It's okay
We
though.
can
We can
troubleshoot.
just run it. We can just run it.
Yeah, so
Let's see if it works.
oh my gosh, hold on. How do I control? Oh, there you go. I think I might have messed up in terms of range number, but that's fine. Let's troubleshoot this. This is how coding works. You have to debug and okay. So it says 55, and is that someone do some quick
Okay,
math?
Michelle, I think
1,
another
2,
way
3,
we
4.
can do this loop is to actually use the I variable itself.
Oh yeah, no. I'm just showing this one now. Okay,
Okay.
it is 55, so I didn't mess up.
Okay, there we go. I guess it just depends which way makes the most sense for you. I think I would have done it in the using the I variable, but yeah,
Okay.
this
Well,
works too.
let's do it the other way then.
Yeah.
Wait, explain this first and then do it your way.
So this one, like I said, it's pretty intuitive. You take the total sum, which is equal to 0, because you want to add the first 10 numbers, right? So you start off with 0 because that's your sum. The first time we run the loop, total sum is 0, so we add number 1 because that's what the variable is right now. But we also want to change the actual value of number added. I remember from a few lessons ago when I said the value of a variable can be overridden. Every time we run this loop, the value of total sum and number added are being overridden on top of each other. So that's why it works to increase the number added by 1 every single time. So the first time it'll add 1, second time it'll add 2, third time 3, and then vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Another way you can do this is actually to put in use the I variable in the actual loop.
Yep.
And
Okay.
knowing how to do this is just useful because there will be a lot of times where you can actually use the I variable to your advantage. So it eliminates the need to create new variables, which sometimes it's hard to keep track of.
Mm-hmm.
So let's
Okay.
take like an example. Do you want to do like the area of a square with side length equal to I? Going up to
okay. The areas of a square from 1 to, let's say 5.
5? Yeah.
Alright. So first thing I see is 1 to 5, so I just do for I in range, and I just do 5.
Well, you could do 1 to 1 comma 6. let's teach them how to do it that way.
Oh, okay. So usually, automatically, if you just give them one number, Python counts from 0, right? So it starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it stops right before this number. But what if I want, say, it would have to be, yeah, let's say I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In that case, you would do this.
Here, just write
And,
print I. Just illustrate for them.
oh yeah. Yeah, I don't have to talk here, just look. And just see what happens. Let me comment this out.
Oh, that didn't get commented out.
No, it's okay. It's a bug.
Oh, okay.
It's actually commented. It's fine. Yeah, so what Python does now is it takes the first number that you give it, which is 1, and it counts, and it stops one number before the second one. So it stops at 5, not 6. And this is useful because now that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they're the exact numbers that we want.
Yep, so that's another way to use range. Before we were just putting one whole number there. So putting one whole number is the same as making like the first number 0, the second number your whole number. But we can do it this way too, in the instance that we don't want I to equal to 0 at the beginning. So it doesn't have to be 1, 6. It could be 5, 10. Basically, we want to know how to do it this way because we don't always
It's just
want
more useful.
0, right? So yeah, that's just another way to do it. And if you actually want to increment by a different value, you can actually add a third component.
Oh yeah, wait, let's
variable.
Let's finish this one first. Let's solve this question first. Because it's quite easy from now on.
I already introduced it to them, so let's just we're not actually gonna use it in this problem, but it's a good thing to know. So
wait, we're not gonna print the areas of a square?
We'll do that. We'll get to it. Let's just illustrate this first.
Okay.
So now we have 2 arguments in range, right? We can actually have 3. And
an argument is something that you put into the brackets, by the way. So this would have 2 arguments, 1 and 6, and this would be 1 argument. Anyway.
Alright. So 1 and 6, the first 2 represent the start point and the end point. A third one, hypothetically, would be the increment, right?
Okay, let's just change the question entirely then. Let's say
No, we don't have to. I just want to teach them how to do it.
Okay, never mind then. Okay. Keep on talking?
Wait, after 6, do 2.
Okay. Well, no, but okay, yeah, sure.
Okay,
let's say 1, 6,
it's
2.
fine.
Yeah, I know.
The actual question, but I just want to teach them how to do it.
I know. So now that yeah, you can explain it.
Okay, so basically what the third number does is it tells you the value that increments every time. If we don't put a third value, by default, it increments the value of I by 1. But the third value will just tell you how much you want to skip every time. So 2, we can see that we're counting by 2. It's multiples of 2. So yeah, that's not relevant.
And I can do it into 1 as well. Okay.
Yeah. Well, if you do it to 1, it's just the equal.
Yeah, it's irrelevant. You can just delete it.
Yeah, so that's actually not relevant to this question, but I thought I would let you guys know. Anyway, back to the problem itself. Does anyone know what we would do here? It's a pretty straightforward question. How can we use the variable I? How can we make it useful for us? So if anyone wants to unmute.
Argument and parameter. I remember learning this, but I do not remember. Give me a second. Function argument.
Okay, here's the. Actually, I haven't learned some lot, but I think the parameter. It's.
Oh, it says that a parameter is a variable in a method definition. So a parameter is the actual thing, and the argument is what you give into the parameter.
Yeah. I guess that question becomes more relevant when we learn about functions, more in depth.
Oh, right.
I don't want to go on a tangent, but I'll explain that in the chat later. Just let's just stick to the lesson for now. All right. Does anyone know what we would do to I if we wanted the side length? Well, not the side length. If we want to use the
area
to calculate the area.
Well, Yeah, we already have that I is equal to the side lengths, and we have the formula for the area, so it should be fairly easy. Just type the line into the channel, please. Anyone. I squared. Yeah, pretty much. For Python, when you do squared, the exponent symbol is not actually this, it's actually 2 stars. So the area would, let's say it's equal to I, and you have to square it, you do that. And then instead of printing I, you would want to print the area. Let's try that. Nice.
Nice. So
It
yeah,
works. Yay.
that example just illustrates that you can actually use the variable I to your advantage when you're writing a for loop.
Mhm.
Range isn't the only way that we can actually define how many times we want the loop to repeat, though. We can also use, well, we haven't learned arrays yet. We can also use strings, actually.
Yeah.
Instead of range.
Oh, right. Oh, right. Okay. Also, if I just did this to make it clear, but honestly, you could just that 2 lines, and it still works. Nice. Okay, let's try using a string instead of a number.
What? Okay, someone give me like a random word.
Yeah, just type a word into the channel. Whoever types it first gets the word. Please give us a word. Any word. Please. Give a random word. Bob. Okay,
Okay.
good enough. Wait, is this a proper way of doing it?
All right. And remember, we put quotation marks around any string, or else we'll run into syntax issues. So you want to do print I?
Print I. Okay, wait. Take 2 seconds. Try to think what's going to happen. Alright, let's see. A. Okay, so basically what Python's doing here is for I and Bob, it's a string. So what Python does is it sees the number of characters in the string. So there's B, there is an O, and there is another B. So there are 3, and for each loop that it goes through, it prints the I number, which goes from B to O to B.
Awesome. So yeah, that's just another way to dictate how many times you want your loop to run. Basically, the loop will run as many times as the string is long, and instead of I cycling, well, not instead of I being 0, 1, 2, 3, like it is with range, I basically cycle through a loop each time it is equal to one of the letters in the string. Awesome. Let's do one more example, and then we can move on to while loops.
Okay, what should the other example be?
Here, let's think of some fun examples.
Alright, let's do an example. Yina. Wait, she can say a question. Let me think of an example.
Yeah.
Let's say, okay, let's write a, I'm just gonna write, oh my gosh, it glitched again. Okay, I'm just gonna move to the top to make it easier. Okay, so for loop. Okay, I'm gonna write a story. So write a story about a girl eating 10 cookies and then throwing up. Alright, there we go. So we could do print she ate 1 cookie print she ate 2 cookies. But that takes forever, so we're not going to do that. Instead, let's do a for loop. Okay, for I in range 10. Actually, let's do 1, 11, because it's easier. Because then we have 1, which is what we want. So I is equal to 1. So for I in range 1 to 11, print. Let's give a, let's say Stacy. Stacy 8 plus I. Yeah, it would have to be stringed because you're stringing together a bunch of different pieces of text. Oh my gosh. Okay, there we go. Let's see if this works. No, it's lagging. Yay! Okay, so that works. And then at the end, let's say, crazy, clear off. Okay, nice. So
Nice.
you can see that we utilized the for loop because Python just goes through this one from 1 all the way till right before 11, and each time it prints out. And we also utilize I. Oh, and also, okay, just an example. You don't actually have to use I. Let's say we can just change it into cookie.
Oh yeah, you don't
That
have
should
to use
still work.
I. It's just
Yep, it's the
what
same
most
thing.
people do.
But if you're writing something complicated and you need to keep track of these,
Yeah,
you can do
for
that
sure.
as well. Oh, should we talk about nested for loops?
Why not? I think you
Okay.
might have. I think last week Cherry and Keegan introduced them to nested elif if.
Okay.
So we
Well,
can
let's do a
introduce
nested for
nesting.
loop. Okay,
Yep.
let's add that. For every cookie that Stacy eats, she drinks 2 glasses of milk. Alright, so Stacy's very, very hungry today. So, if you have, wait, take 2 seconds or 5 seconds, try to think how you would do this. So you'd have to input this for every single cookie, or every single time that she eats this cookie. Alright, so I'm just going to start now.
All right.
So what I think is, yeah, let's explain it.
Or we can. I don't mind. Anyway, so last week you guys did nested elif if statements, I think. So if you can kind of recall to what you guys learned last week, basically, we can put an if statement within another if statement. We can also put a for loop within a for loop. So every time the first for loop runs, the second for loop runs to its completion. So in this case, Michelle wants to tell the story of Stacy eating a cookie, and for each cookie that she eats, she drinks 2 glasses of milk. So in this example, when the first loop, like the overall loop, is running the first time, cookie equals 1. So cookie equals to 1, and it prints Stacy ate 1 cookie. And then after it prints that, Python reads the next line, which is for milk in range 1, 3. So while cookie still equals 1, we're going to run the second loop to completion. And milk will equal 1, and then 2.
And then 2. Yep.
And then we'll go
So,
back to the first for loop.
yep, the indentation is really important here because everything that's within this for loop is indented like this. So if I did this instead, then then this for loop wouldn't run for every loop of this for loop. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so basically the for
so
loop
this would
is going
have
to run
to,
to completion.
Yeah. So this needs to be within this for loop for it to run every single time this loop runs. Alright, so let's see if I messed anything up. Let's try this.
I think that's good.
Yep, that works. So what Python does now, it's like, so first loop, it eats a cookie, and then within this for loop, there's another for loop where you have to drink milk. So it goes through this once, and then it goes through it twice because that's the range we gave it. And then after this for loop, it's to completion. So it goes back to this original for loop, and it does all of that 10 times, and then Stacy throws up that phase.
Awesome. So hypothetically, if for every glass of milk that Stacy drank, she did a push-up, does anyone know what we would do? Well, no, she didn't do one push-up. She does 10 push-ups. What would
Oh my
we
gosh,
do?
this is quite. Yeah, so let's say so every single cookie that Stacy eats, she drinks 2 glasses of milk, but for every glass of milk, she also does 10 push-ups. And we want the code to say Stacy does 1 push-up, Stacy does 2 push-ups, Stacy does 3 push-ups. All the way. Oh, this code's gonna be long, but let's go anyway.
Does
So type what you
anyone
think is gonna
wanna,
happen.
type what you think we
Volunteer.
should do?
Yep. No worries, no pressure. You don't have to type the line of code, just explain what you think you should do. Forward
Yeah,
inside the forward for glass of milk. Yeah, that's right.
correcto. That is correct, sir. All right. So we
Yay!
just add another level of nesting.
Yep. And what's important is make sure it's in this line. Wait, is it? No. Make sure it's in this line.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a third level. It's like Inception. Or push up. And this is where maybe having this would be useful instead of, because if I did all of them as I, it would be confusing. And yeah. Let's say push up in range 1. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's say 5 because I don't want to spam the
Yeah.
code. Great. Stacy does string push up plus push ups. Alright. Let's see.
Yeah, this is gonna be long.
Oh man. Oh man. Okay, let's just go through one of these cookie loops. So she eats 1 cookie, she drinks 2 glasses of milk because the code goes here, and then wait, hold on. Wait. So 2 glasses of milk, and then she has another cookie, she drinks 2 glasses of milk. Alright, hang on. Oh my gosh, it's because it's all the way down here. How do I clear this? Okay. Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, now this works. Sorry. Okay. So first cookie loop. She eats 1 cookie, and then she drinks 2 glasses of milk. But for each glass of milk, she also does 5 push-ups. So first glass of milk, 5 push-ups. Second glass of milk, 5 push-ups. And then she goes back to the second cookie. But anyway, yeah, that's how nested for loops work.
Awesome. All right. We have for loops out of the way. I think you guys have a good grasp on that by now. So let's introduce the second type of loop called a while loop. So the
It's similar.
Yeah, it's similar. They're both loops. Where a for loop is for use when you know how many times you want to repeat it. A while loop will repeat while a certain condition is being satisfied. Last week, I think Trevor and Keegan introduced you guys to like double equals, while something equals true, something equals false. So, yep, like Michelle is typing up there, while loop repeats while something is being fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't actually put like a condition on while, hypothetically it'll just run forever.
Mm-hmm.
But let's not do that.
Okay, yeah, don't do that. You'll
Yeah,
crash
it'll
your
crash.
computer. Let's give an example. Okay, let's say we want to. Okay.
How about no? Let's
I'm just gonna type it in. Yeah.
Let's just do a very simple.
Yeah, I was saying. Okay, let's say like the program asks you like, do you want this program to keep running, right? So let's say user answer equals input, Do you want this program to keep
Wait, Michelle.
running? Yeah? What's up?
Let's just show them how a while loop like could run like a for loop. I think
Okay.
adding the input, let's do that after we kind of show them what a while loop does. So
Okay.
there's a way, it's kind of redundant, but there's a way we can get a while loop to act like a for loop. And this will just like teach you how a while loop actually runs. So let's create a variable called like repeating. And let's just set that equal to 0.
Mm-hmm.
So basically the format for a while loop is while repeating is less than like 5. Let's see.
Say 5.
Print like something.
Repeating.
And
And
then
then, okay,
repeating
this is, don't
plus
run it while it's like here. If you run it while here, what's going to happen is repeating is equal to 0. It's always going to be less than 5. So the program's just going to print this over and over and over and over and
yeah,
over again. So what you have to do is you have to change repeating. Let's say plus plus. Wait, did that work?
plus equals.
No. Okay.
Yeah. So this is kind of with this loop, it's kind of a bad example because this is kind of what a for loop just does for us, like
Yeah,
already. But this is just
but
to
it
illustrate
just
like
shows
the
you how it
way
works.
that a while loop is formatted. So trust me, there's a lot more actually useful applications of a while loop, but this is a really basic one. Basically, what I'm trying to drill into your heads is that a condition is attached to a while loop. And for a while loop to exit, which is what we want, because we don't want a while loop to run on forever, that's kind of not going to be useful. We want a certain exit condition. We want to give the while loop a certain way to know when it should stop running. So in this case, it's the condition repeating is less than 5. And the reason, not the reason, the way we're going to do that is to increment repeating by 1 every time. So this while loop can be exited. And
Yep.
another way you can do this that is actually more useful than the first example is using input like Michelle was doing before we kind of
Yeah.
introduced.
Okay. So let's comment that out. Because this works, but honestly just use a for loop. What's the point of doing that? But let's say you wanted something that you don't actually know how long it's going to go for. So let's say continue. Oh, that's actually a thing. Let's say user answer equals an input. Do you want this program to keep running? Then while user answer is, oh, you want to introduce this?
The double equals? Oh, I think I think Trevor introduced that
Okay,
last week.
keep running.
But double equals, basically, the difference between double equals and equals, in case you guys forgot, is we use the single equal when we want to assign a value to a variable. The double equals is like the equal sign in math. It's when two things are the same thing, when two values are the same.
So while the user answer is equal to, as in you're not assigning the variable, but you're comparing them. If it's yes, then you print, okay, keep running. And the important thing here is you need to be able to change the user answer. So this is kind of the same concept as having this line and this line of code. So you want something that gives the user a way out, so to speak. So if you add this line here, they can break out of the loop. Because say I had it gone, and you answer yes for this first time, and it's always going to be yes now, so it's just going to print this over and over and over again. But if you add this line, that means that with each loop, you have the option to leave. So let's try this.
Yeah, so with a while loop, we always want to make it possible for the while loop to stop. Or else there's really no point in using a while loop.
Gives the user a chance to break the loop. Alright, so let's say yes. Okay, keep running. Do you want more? Let's say yes again. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, but let's say I don't want it to run anymore. So then I can say anything that's not yes. I can just say nah. And now it's gone. And we can also just add something at the end of the loop to say print. Okay, it has stopped. So, let's introduce this. When you say equals yes, it has to be exactly lowercase y, e, s. Like, if I said this, it wouldn't work, it would stop. So if you want to be, you can do that if you want. In that case, it's equal to yes or capital Y. Either would work in this case. Yes, yes. And then if you say no, it's gone. Wait, hold on.
Yay. Oh, wait.
Was that? No. Is that a bug?
Where?
Yeah, there is a bug. Hold on. I'm not sure why there is. Right? That's why we do something. All user answer equals. Hold on. I do not know why that bug is there. If someone's watching this stream and they know why, let me know. No. Okay, well it works, but if I add the or, it's something with the or. I'm not sure, I think.
Oh, while user answer double equals yes or user answer double equals. You have to do both. Like,
Oh.
yeah. It's just like that.
Okay. Oh. It works now. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, sweet. So that is and this is an example of where a while loop is useful, because in a for loop you would give them a specific amount of time, but in a while loop you don't actually know how many times the user wants the program to keep running.